Hello, hello. This is Leah Lachlan. I just want to welcome you to my Brain Book series. I'm in the process of creating, a handful, maybe 6 or 7 videos that break down and explain different parts of the Brain Book. And I believe that most of it's pretty self-explanatory, but there are parts that if you hear maybe the explanation or the why behind it, or some user-friendly tips that I've learned over the years, I think it could help it to be more effective for you. So in this video, I'm going to break down the weekly brain dump and weekly planning tool. It's 2 pages in the Brain Book. You've got a brain dump page, and then you've got I call it the Sunday planning. But really, it's just a weekly planning page. You don't have to do it on Sundays. You can just do it on any day of the week that comes most natural to you to plan out and strategize your week. And so these may be my most favorite tools in the Brain Book, yet I think the hardest ones to get in the rhythm with, and the most challenging ones to really wrap my brain around, but also stay diligent with to make it work for me. Okay, so there's like a learning curve for using these tools, at least there was for me. Okay, so let's start with the Brain Book. I'll just give you a little glimpse of it right here, or I'm sorry, the brain dump. It's your brain dump list, and these 4 boxes are meant for the 4 weeks in the month. So you'd use 1 box per week. And the idea of the brain dump is that you would just think through everything you want to do, need to do, everything on your mind, anything urgent that needs to happen that week, priorities, to-do lists. I mean, just dump it out in the order that it comes in. Don't try to make it organized. Don't try to categorize it. Just let your brain kind of dump those things out as you think of the upcoming week and what needs to happen and what you want to have happen that week. And this alone is very therapeutic, just to get all the things rattling around in your brain down on paper. It feels like a purge and a cleanse, and it lifts a little bit of weight off your shoulders just to do that activity alone. And there's just a lot of power in taking a pen and putting ink to paper. It's a powerful exercise. And so you dump it all out there. Okay, so then you're going to transfer these items to the following page. And the following page is titled, can't really see that with the light. There we go. It's titled Sunday Planning. And again, you have a little rectangle for every week of the month. And in these rectangles for your weekly planning, you're writing out your big goal number 1, number 2, and number 3. If you have more than 3 big goals, you really don't have any. Because more than 3 is really, it's too much. Nobody has the capacity to work and operate and produce at that level, even the most insanely productive people. We're not meant to have like a split focus. Okay, so you want to have a focus, and really better than 3 is just 1. What is that 1 goal? And if you're using this for your Mary Kay business, that would be your 1 goal in your business. Maybe include goal number 2 as a life goal that you have. And so you really want to narrow it down. So to think of what that would be, because some people get stuck there, like, what are my 3 big goals, or what's my 1 big goal? So let's pause for a minute there and help you figure that out. You start by answering the question, what would have to happen maybe this year, or this seminar year, or this calendar year, for you to be able to say, this was the best year ever? Okay. What would have to happen? So for Mary Kay people, for you to be able to say this was the best Mary Kay seminar year ever. If you're not Mary Kay, maybe for you to say this was the best year of my life, or year in my other career or job. What would have to happen for you to feel like you could say that? And usually by answering that simple question, that can help you identify, or at least be a piece of the puzzle to identifying what that big main goal is. Because that's where we've got to start. Like, what are you working to accomplish? What's the end goal? What's a win for you? What's a life-changing victory for you? Let's identify what that is. And then every week you have to write it down. So this was my first aha when I started using this tool. I didn't start by having it all on one page. I had it on different multiple pages, so I've condensed it over time. But the first time I did this, so I filled it out and I went through it. And then the next week I went to fill it out again with my top 3 goals. And you guys, I'm slightly embarrassed to say that I got to the part where I was going to write my goals out again. And I'm like, what are they? What are my top 3 goals? I mean, I'm like blushing to say that. But I really had to think of it. So that's maybe not where we want to be mentally, that you would actually have to ponder what your goals are. We want our goals, our top 1 or 2 or 3 goals to be like fall off your tongue, right on the tip of your tongue, because there's that much focus, there's that much intention, desire, drive connected to that goal. Okay, so that was my first aha. I'm like, wow, I'm having to really ponder what they are and having to mentally recall what my goals are. And so there's power in that alone, that every week you're writing them down again. And yes, I know it's going to say the same thing in every box and you're going to write the same thing every week. That's the point, is that you would give your brain the space to look at it again. I mean, we've all done it. We've all written goals in notebooks and lost the notebook. We've all set goals and then forgot what they were, or 6 months later, we didn't even remember writing them down. We've all fallen into those goal setting pitfalls. And so this is one way to just keep your goal in front of you on a consistent basis. Your mind is a goal-oriented machine, and that which it focuses on is what it will even subconsciously work towards achieving. So the process of you writing and reading your goals again every single week, powerful. So you've got your goals written out, and so I wouldn't just pre-fill them in, okay? Don't just pre-fill in the same things. You want to just think about it again next week, and then you want to think about it again the next week, and you want to think about it again and write it down again the next week. Okay, let's move on. So you go back to your brain dump, and the idea is that you would be taking the things you want and need to do, and then you'd be filling them in under the goals that you have. And the only way you could fill that activity in under your goal is if it's an activity that is directly supporting the progress of that goal. Okay, let's use an easy Mary Kay example. You want to complete maybe one of the national courts. And so our income producing activities in our business, booking, coaching, selling, and recruiting, those would be the obvious things that would fall under, I mean, really any Mary Kay goal that you have for the year. And so you're directly connecting activity with the goal, so that what you are doing on a daily and weekly basis is taking you a little baby step closer to what you actually want to accomplish. It is amazing. In fact, it is scary that as I've observed my own life and have observed the choices and actions of people that I work with and people that I coach, how disconnected we can be with these things. Like, I want this here, yet you may not be doing any activity that is actually getting you there. There can be this like odd disconnect between what we want and what we're actually taking action on and doing to get there. So that is the goal of this tool, is that you would take the activities that you're prioritizing and connect them to the goal that you want to achieve, and that there would be a strong connection. And you guys, I know that sounds so simple. It's like, duh. Well, duh, of course. I know it sounds simple, yet it is profound, because we don't often live like that, with that level of intention and priority. And so we want to try to live like that better. And that's the goal of this tool, is that it would help you to live like that you would actually be living out your value system and be progressing towards your goal. Because I also believe there's rarely any neutral choices, or there's no such thing as stagnation. And by that, I mean that every choice you're making, like the baby ones, the little ones, the small ones, it is either moving you forward towards that goal or you are moving backwards. I don't think there's very many choices we make that just cause us to stand still, or that are neutral, or that would create any stagnation. I mean, it is towards that goal or it is away. And the goal is to make more choices and intentional action towards it than we are taking away from the goal. And so, okay, so let's go back to your brain dump list. You're looking at everything you dumped out, and you're almost transferring it. Let's take it from this page to this page to this page, and fitting it in under your 1, 2, or 3 goals. Okay, and then you have this miscellaneous box here. Let's call this the Devils Vortex. The goal is that there wouldn't be much in there. You're probably naturally going to have a few miscellaneous items. It's natural. We've got a lot of hats that we wear. We've got a lot of roles that we play. So we've got some miscellaneous things going on, of course. But the goal is that wouldn't be very full. Also, you guys, you're thinking within your work, your boundary to work time, your time blocks that you have committed and set boundaries around to work and grow your business. So this is not your whole life. All right, this is your business life, your business hours, the time block you set aside for those things. And so let me think of a good example. Maybe we just did shopping for school supplies this week. And so that didn't go on this list because I wouldn't do that within a time block that I have set aside to work my business. That's happening outside of that time block. Okay, so you're just thinking within the time blocks I have set to work and grow my business. These are the things I need to do. I hope that brings clarity. You're going to probably need a separate to-do list, brain dump list for family stuff, and things that are outside of the boundary of the time you set for your business. Okay. So the first time I did this, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm productive. I am focused. I am goal-oriented. Like, I'm all over this. Did my brain dump. And I was so shocked to see how much of what I wanted to do and thought I needed to do really did not connect at all to the overall goals that I had. And that's what I wanted to do and needed to do within my boundaried time to work my business. I mean, shocked, embarrassed, like what, right? And so it's trained me. It's trained me on how to think about my priorities and what I want and think I need to do. But it took some time. There's a learning curve with this tool. And so just embrace that tension if you're feeling that learning curve as you begin to use this tool. I think that's normal. And it takes some time to kind of get in the groove and to allow this tool to impact our thinking and our working. So then what do you do with everything else? Okay, so let's say you make your brain dump list and you're fitting things in, and some things are falling under your goals and some things aren't. What do you do with the things that don't? Or what do you do with the miscellaneous box? What do you do with everything else? Okay, so here are your options. It's to eliminate, delegate, automate, or do during non-people hours. Okay, eliminate, delegate, automate, or before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. Those are like non-people hours, times that you wouldn't necessarily be interacting or in front of people. You want to save that precious time between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. for people, talking to people, building relationships, building your business, having conversations, talking to customers, hostesses, prospects. You want to be talking to people all day long. And then you fit in those other just tasks. They're busy work, organizational things. You save that for non-people hours. Okay, so what do I mean by eliminate? I mean, just don't do it. I am the queen of like just giving myself things to do. And I have to be really careful to analyze, like, do I actually really need to do this? Like, is this valuable? Does this contribute to the growth of my business or to my joy or to my family? Because I'm really good at just like making things up. So I have to watch myself and really look like, does this even need to be done? Why is this on my list? What value is this adding? And so you might just need to eliminate it. Eliminate it, cross it off, just erase it, scratch it off. Don't do it. Or save it for a different season. Because we have different seasons. You know, we're always going through different seasons of life, different seasons of the year. And what is appropriate in one season could be completely inappropriate in another season. And that takes a lot of discernment, but be wise about when you choose to do certain things. And be discerning about, okay, what season of life am I in right now? And what is the highest priority and highest demand on my time? What would be most honoring to God with how I invest my time? And do those things and let anything that doesn't fall within those categories, let them wait for another season. Okay? So discernment about the season of life that you're in. That will give you discernment about what to eliminate or cross off or save for another season right now. Okay, delegate. Yeah, just have someone else do it. Who else could do it? Do you need to hire more help in your office? Are there tasks you could delegate to children or a husband? Is there virtual assistants out there who could help you? Who could help you with these tasks? What more could you delegate? And then third is automate, and that's just creating more systems and making things more systematic. I mean, talk about a time saver, you guys. To have things more systematic in your home is such a mega time saver. And so let me give you a couple of examples. Even just paying your bills and making sure they're all automated could save you hours when you add it up over the year. And I know we think like, oh, it'll just take me 30 minutes to, you know, write the checks and put them in the envelope and the stamp. But 30 minutes every week or every month, I mean, it adds up to a lot of hours when you add it up over the months and the year and the years. And so having everything automatic so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to find the checkbook. You don't have to find the stamp or the envelope or the address because it's just automatically happening. That's taking a task, automating it, to save you time to do something of higher value. We just are about to enter this season where the kids are going back to school, and it is an effort, let me tell you, to get me and my 4 kids ready, fed, house in some kind of reasonable order, and out the door at the time we need to get everybody where they need to go. And so we're thinking through, how can we automate this? How can we make this more flow better? How can we get more done in the morning on a less amount of time? Okay, so we're thinking through that system in our home to not only save time, to create more joy. That's one thing we don't talk about often with systems is they save you time, but it's a joy to have systems in your home. It's a joy to have systems in your office because you don't have to put as much energy and willpower and thought to it. Without systems, we go through our days and we have decision fatigue. If we're having to decide all of these little itty bitty things all throughout the day and find all these things and look up all these things and do all these small tasks, it taxes your brain. It taxes your ability to make decisions. So if we can make things more systematic, so we're not having to think through and make all these little small choices, saves you time and it saves you energy and creates a whole lot more joy in how you work your business and how your household runs. Okay, so what could become more systematic? Maybe go throughout this week and as you do different tasks, jot down some ideas of like, okay, how could I make this flow better? Or make a bug list. Like what's frustrating you as you go through your day that if it just ran a little bit more smoothly, or if you didn't have to put as much thought into it because it was systematic, it would save you a lot of time, energy, and create more joy. Okay, so systematize things. And then we already talked about the non-people hours. And so those are the things you do with the miscellaneous box, the Devil's Vortex, is eliminate, delegate, automate before 9 or after 9 during non-people hours, or save it for a different season of life. Okay, weekly planning. You guys brain dump and plug those things in under your top goals. And I hope this blesses you.